The average overdraft fee is $34, and that can add up quickly if you are struggling to make ends meet and oftentimes find yourself overdrawing on your account. Luckily, there are ways to avoid overdraft fees, so let's cover everything you need to know. Hey guys, it's Justine with The College Investor, investing and personal finance for millennials. If you find yourself in overdraft land frequently, let's go over some options that can help you avoid this type of fee when it comes to banking in your everyday life. First, what is overdraft protection? A lot of banks oftentimes will cover any associated costs when it comes to overdrawing on your account. So if you're using your debit card and you don't have enough money to make that purchase, the purchase is still going to go through, the bank's going to cover the cost, and then you're going to get slapped with an overdraft fee, and that's normally around $34, and then you got to make up that difference. The good news here is if you work with a bank that has overdraft protection, you're going to avoid embarrassment when it comes to a declined card, and you'll avoid any late payments if you have that card set up on automatic payments for other bills, so you won't get a late fee from that bill. So there are a couple of different ways to avoid overdraft fees. Let's go over them. The first one is to work with a bank that doesn't charge any overdraft fees. This is an obvious solution. There are banks like Chime, Level Bank, and Axos that don't charge any overdraft fees, so it could be worth the switch. Another way to do this is you can link your savings account to your checking account so that your savings account can cover any overdraft fees or charges that you might incur with your checking account. Just be aware that most savings accounts have a limit to just 6 transactions per month. The next way is to apply for an overdraft line of credit. So some banks do offer a line of credit in the case of overdraft fees. Keep in mind you will have to pay an interest rate, but it could be less than what you were paying in overdraft fees. You'll also need a solid line of credit, and this really isn't my favorite choice. The next way is just to simply opt out of overdraft coverage completely. So while you won't be able to put in those transactions if you have limited funds, your card is just simply declined, which honestly I think kind of makes it a little bit easier because then you're not stuck in a situation where you've got to pay these overdraft fees. But it could be slightly embarrassing if you're out with friends and family and your card is declined because you don't have enough money in your account. So pros and cons, either way, this could be a good option for you. The next way is to set up an alert for low account balances. This is actually one of my favorite ways because you can set up a notification or alert through your bank and it will notify you when your funds are getting low so that you can refrain from using your debit card until you have enough money in your account. The next way is to use your credit card. So credit cards obviously don't charge overdraft fees. However, this can get a little sticky if you find yourself using your credit card more and more, which comes with a very high interest rate, and you can quickly rack up a mountain of debt if you aren't able to pay off that credit card using funds in your checking account. Yes, it is a way to avoid overdraft fees, but you gotta be really careful with this option. And the last option for you is to use a prepaid debit card. Prepaid debit cards aren't linked to any type of an account with a bank. You just simply load money onto that debit card, and once the money's out, it's done. You don't have any overdraft fees, and your transactions will be declined if you don't have enough money on that prepaid debit card. Okay, so obviously there are a lot of different ways to avoid overdraft fees, but I think when it comes to this type of fees with banks, what we really need to come back to is awareness. Money awareness of what's coming into your bank account and what's leaving your bank account. And if you find yourself in overdraft land a lot, it might be time to go back to the basics of budgeting. figuring out exactly how much income is coming into your checking account and then how many expenses are going out. Now, you can effectively manage your money using a budget and all of our free resources over at thecollegeinvestor.com. Be sure to check out all of those resources so that you can be better prepared on your financial journey.